and there's going to be that. And
So,
so it's currently running. And then at 29:59, it stops. So just be aware of that, so you start it as soon as it stops.
okay.
Cool.
The plan for that day.
Okay.
So how do we begin the story?
We just go.
Where's the wisdom of Kira Webster, guys? Round of applause.
Yes, thank you.
I can start with the whole planning thought process.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Why?
you're gonna. You go. I'll just interject when we miss
Yeah,
something.
should we just be like, wait, pause your thought because something happened
But
that you forgot
wait.
to mention.
But wait, there's
But wait, right before that.
Right. And just be aware of the camera, please,
okay.
if
We
it
look-
stops. Because
we
if
look-
we keep talking and we miss it, it'll be a sad
Does your mom know
story.
how to work the camera?
Do we look in the camera or
I don't think it matters. I think we can just be like a conversation.
Yeah.
okay?
And then we can just...
We need, our train of thought needs to be from start of the day to getting back to base camp. That's
I'm gonna start with like how Charlie mentioned the Phil Fiesta at Black
Yes.
Mountain.
Yeah, well,
That's-
all
And
the
how
way
I
back.
got this great idea.
Yes.
yeah, that works.
Because I was gonna make it back for my crew. We were gonna make it back from Hidden.
Yeah, I was gonna make that.
So obviously this is
You
a
already
great
started?
idea.
Yes, it started.
I was.
Do you
dolphin,
want to
right?
stand behind the camera or do you want to sit? What do you want to do?
I'll be sitting, but
I think it's rolling, but we didn't actually start yet.
Yeah, it's rolling right now.
Was I an alternate or you were? No, you were the
You were the alternate.
You were the
okay.
alternate.
I was
You
supposed
guys,
to
that's
be the
right.
PTC
You had was they for my taxes or something? Or?
They were great. They were a PTC crew, like all the like
right. It was a really
alumni
cool
staff, and Heather got them, and they were like an awesome crew.
Okay, that'll be part of the
okay.
That'll be
So
good.
yeah, you guys. First of all, were you all in the same training crew?
Okay,
Or
how do we
did
know
you
each
get
other?
to know
All
each
the way,
other?
all the way to the back.
Well,
Okay, so day
First of all,
one.
You went
day
to
one,
Philmont.
I was born at a fairly young age, and at that point, I came up to Philmont at the age of, I'm sorry.
At the age of not as young.
Austin and I were in the same training crew.
Correct.
You were born a poor black child? Is that what?
Yes.
That movie?
Yes, exactly.
And our ranger trainer was Charlie.
Super cool.
Yeah. Kira was in a different training crew. But we were on the train
Lame.
together.
We were on the train together. We didn't meet each other on the train. We met each other on the shuttle bus from the train station to Philmont. We didn't talk to each other. I
This is
ended up
scary.
tenting with the other girl, and I wish I had tented with Cassie because now I'm friends with her. But oh well, mistakes happen.
We all make
Maybe you
mistakes.
would.
anyway.
Maybe
And
you wouldn't
let's
be
see.
friends if you had.
I
been
think
teammates.
the reason we got to know each other was because Katie in my training crew was tenting with Jackie, who's the other girl in Cassie's training crew. So the four of us started hanging out together. And then I met Austin one night when Cassie was hanging out with him and a couple other guys playing a game. And I was like, Cassie, where are you? I'm bored. And then we were sister crew rangers,
Mm-hmm.
our next cruise.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, hey, I know you.
Yeah. So, and then
Sister
sister cruise.
crews are your two crews going out together.
At the same, we're
the
on the
same
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 track.
on
track.
same on track.
Okay.
Yeah, same track,
Yeah.
same time.
The genealogy of Philmont is just it
It's
takes
weird.
a lot.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of
It's like a
abbreviations.
mission.
Yeah, there's a lot of abbreviations too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I stopped myself. I'm like training crew and ranger trainer. Yeah, because we'd be like,
RT.
it's my RT for my TC. We meet at the RO in the morning at like 8 o'clock, and then
Yeah, the closing campfire, they had a skit like that they used once or twice where they used all the abbreviations they could come up with and said it in like one sentence,
And everybody understood.
and
yeah,
it was so
it went
funny.
flawlessly. Not one mistake. And then we were sister crews, and then we went to the Valle and
Yeah.
went mountain biking at Vega one time after the fire. We saw the fire damage. That was really cool. And then after that, Cassie had it.
Cool.
It was cool. And after that, we heard about Phil Fiesta. And
yeah, Charlie, because so the ranger trainers have specific staff camps that they're liaisons for, and Black Mountain was Charlie's liaison camp. And staff camps have Phil Fiestas, which are like
they make
staff comes, they make a bunch of food, and like we have a bunch of fun and stuff.
It's their party that they get to throw.
So it's like
Yeah.
celebration of that particular
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
camp
And
for
they'll have
that
like
week.
themes and stuff like that, and all that good stuff. And
Yeah.
this particular one fell on. It was the 28th of July. I want to say it wasn't like 28th.
Yeah, that's
28th of July, yeah. And so we had plans. Well, Cassie had the plan to go, and let you take it away.
Because that's the nice thing to do when you're the liaison,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
since this
Show
camp
support.
nobody was going to go.
Right. This camp is
You're
really
trying
hard
to
to get to because there's no roads that go to it, and you have to hike either up a creek or over a mountain to get to the camp after the road and everything. So nobody really goes, and we were the liaison rangers, and Charlie was supposed to make it up because he's the liaison ranger trainer.
And
Nathan was going to go up with us because, so Nathan and Charlie were going to go up because they both had the day off the next day. And Austin and I were going to go up because we thought we could make it there and back because we were going to hike through the night down the creek because that would be nice and easy and
Real
quick.
quick, I may interject. There's next to the word creek, there's an asterisk because depending on weather conditions, the creek can be a babbling brook, a regular creek, or a raging river.
It's
So,
definitely a raging river.
So, is this foreshadowing?
Yeah.
possibly.
So Austin and I were going to be able to make it back, in
Yeah.
theory, by the
She-
8 a.m. ranger meeting the next
She
morning.
had
The day
Vera
off.
had day off next day.
Right. So obviously we were going to bring her
So
because she was
it
an
didn't
adopted
matter.
ranger
Yeah.
to our
and-
training crew.
Exactly. And so I was an alternate the next day, which means if an alternate in the ranger department means that if, say, for whatever reason, I'm chosen alternate, and Cassie has a crew, but she misses her crew. She doesn't show up for 8 a.m., or something happens and she cannot take that crew. An alternate would take that crew for it. It's a backup ranger, pretty much.
So, is there a backup to the backup?
Yeah, there's like a stack of alternates. Like
Usually
three.
there's 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But he
And
was the first alternate. So
I was
he
the
was
first-
supposed to be like first in line to
So
take.
anybody didn't get a crew, I was on deck. Okay. Cassie had a crew the next day. Keep that in mind throughout the course of the story.
More foreshadowing.
And so exactly, and so we had the great idea, like, oh, I gotta work the next day, but I got the day off. Let's just go up. We'll go party or at the Phil Fiesta, and then we'll come back and be back. We'll see. We get back late, get a decent night's rest, whatever. It'll be all right, you know. And we'll be there at 8 a.m. No biggie.
No biggie.
None
So
whatsoever.
the day arrives, wake up, and we got a fairly late start to the day.
It was after lunch.
Yeah, we
The
decided
reason for that was it was my hike-in day.
that's
Yeah.
what it was too.
I had a hike-in day, so I was out with a crew, and I had to hike back into base camp from that crew. So I was leaving the crew. Good job, you know everything you're supposed to know.
Keep
You go
going.
on. I'm gonna go back
I'm
to
going
base
home.
camp. So I hiked in, got back, like after lunch.
Did you get?
I think I missed lunch.
I thought you got back before, but we wanted to eat lunch.
I got back right before lunch was over,
That's what
and
it
we
was.
ate lunch.
And we geared up.
I think you had gone to go get your stuff, and I was sitting in the dining
Waiting
hall
for
with
me.
Cassie until she was done.
Yeah.
And then you were in the bathroom for a long
That's
time.
it. I don't know. I think lunch
We were
was-
like,
your
are
fault,
you
Dawson.
done yet?
I didn't think lunch that would be that
Would have
day.
had an earlier start, but it's all your fault.
Well, that's whatever they made in the kitchen that day.
And then you end up at your truck and didn't tell us, so we're just sitting there waiting for you.
Yeah.
I thought I told you guys, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go do this, and I'll meet you at my truck. And then,
And
You missed the
definitely
meeting
didn't.
at my truck park,
tell
so we're
us
just
that.
sitting around like, is
Where is he?
lost?
so eventually,
Base
after
camp?
wonderful coordination and a well-executed plan.
Oh, and the other part of it was we knew there was going to be a storm,
Yes.
but because storms in the mountains are like 2 hours long, we thought we'll just hike through this quick little storm, or it'll be over by the time we get to the Phil Fiesta, and then it'll be fine to hike
More
back
foreshadowing.
at night.
It's not me.
Whose phone is that?
That's your mom's phone.
Oh, man, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I don't even want to answer it.
So I remember.
So we were like, it's okay if we start early, we'll miss the rainstorm because we'll start hiking, we'll get there, it'll storm while we're eating dinner, and then it'll be over by dinner. 'Cause
Something like that.
That's how the storm
Yeah.
was supposed to go.
That's how storms are
Eric?
supposed to go in the Southwest.
And so then after we decided it was time, we were ready to go,
We were ready to go, we found
We
off
saddled
in the
up.
truck.
drove out the Cedo turnaround, and got out of my truck, and we decided to embark on our journey to Black Mountain.
We were gonna go from
Yep.
Cedo turnaround up and over Black Mountain down into the camp because that's the easier and longer. It's longer
Easier.
distance, but it was like the easier path to go up that side of the mountain and down into the camp. That's like the easier way to do Black Mountain. So we were gonna do it that way.
And you really wanted to climb Black
And
Mountain.
I was gonna climb Black Mountain.
And we did climb Black Mountain.
Oh, you better believe it.
Don't spoil it all.
Sorry.
Come on.
We did climb Black
That was
Mountain.
foreshadowing.
And so.
And we thought it was gonna be easier to follow the creek down at night.
That's true. I think
Oh, because it'd be shorter and like not
And plus you're going
not as
down.
dangerous.
Right.
And so I remember.
Yes.
I do remember we got to see a turnaround, which is the farthest part you can drive to before you have to go on foot. It was a beautiful day. It really was. Like,
Yeah.
and it was a
Sunny.
deep blue sky. It was a great day, and we left. I remember like taking off like a hoodie or something or a jacket I had, or like peeling layers because I was like it was hot out and stuff. And it was just like a really good day, and it started really really well. We went to Clark's Fork.
Yeah.
We
Past
started-
Clark's Fork.
We were hanging out there.
Yeah, we hung out
Because we
there.
thought,
for a
oh,
little
it's nice, we got a little bit of extra time.
bit. Yeah.
We'll hang out at Clark's Fork.
Right. I don't think we were there for too long.
We weren't
No.
there for too long.
We filled up our
We stopped and
waters.
filled up water.
Yeah.
And then next part, we went up, started going up the mesa, up towards Black Mountain, and began our climb. We went through.
Schaefer's Pass.
Yeah.
I have my map. in my
We
car.
went to
Oh,
Ponderosa Park. We went Clark's Fork, Ponderosa,
I peed there.
Schaefer. Yeah, we all peed there.
Applause.
Then we went up towards Schaefer's Pass.
pee.
And then would we get to Tooth?
Okay, so through all this hiking, through all these camps and random patrol camps and staff camps and stuff, we got up to about Schaefer's Pass, which is where it's a low point between the mountains, between Black Mountain, I think it's Big Red, or another mountain, or just
It's Tooth Ridge.
Tooth
Yeah,
Ridge.
Tooth
So
Ridge is
it's just, like I said, a pass that you need to go through because it's the easiest way. And so at about that point, we got to Schaefer's Pass. There were some people camping there, I believe. But around that time, I remember we came up that side and we stopped for a little bit because we went up to some little point that we found. And we looked, it was like really cool when we looked out. And about that time, I want to say it was around 2 or 3. And the nice blue sky had drifted away and storm clouds began to
rolling
replace
in. And then it
the blue
sprinkled
sky.
a little bit, and we're like, it'll be fine. So we keep going.
And we knew there was a storm coming, so it was kind of like expected, you know. We thought, oh, it'll be fine, it'll be alright. And we began our second portion of the Black Mountain journey. And so we got over Schaefer's Pass, and I remember we got to where there's a trailhead where it splits to go up the mountain and over and down into Black Mountain Camp. Or you go down.
Down the other side of the pass to the river.
Yeah, you go down the pass and then come back up, and you walk up the river to Black Mountain. Because the river is literally in Black Mountain Camp and runs right through it. So if you follow that river up,
You're not going to get lost.
You're
Right.
gonna hit Black Mountain. I remember after we got to the pass, it started raining a bit more. I started putting on rain gear. We got to the trailhead, and then a loud rumble
Rumble and a crack.
and a crack could be heard very easily.
It's a little
We are
close
on
for
top of a
comfort.
mountain now, and
We're
our
on-
plan.
We're like up the side of the path.
We're
Right.
at the trailhead where you can go up and over or down and up. So
I remember this part vividly.
this is we had a great, good conversation.
This
Which
conversation
way
went.
do we go?
This conversation went. I'm going over Black Mountain during this trip. Whether I survive or not, I'm gonna make it to the top of Black Mountain. Is what I told you two. And I'm pretty sure right after I said that, it started torrentially
Downpouring.
downpouring.
Yeah, the faucet turned on.
Yeah.
Not the faucet.
And we ran and hid under a ponderosa.
Yeah, so we hit it on the
Right
pine
next
tree,
to the
yeah.
trailhead.
Come on,
Where
I
you
tried to get
either
my
go.
map dry. I kept sprinkling on it. I was getting super upset.
Yeah. And we were deciding whether we were gonna still go over the mountain and possibly get struck by lightning, or hike up the creek and possibly get struck by lightning.
Be drowned.
Or
And drowned,
yeah.
yeah.
But
Drowned.
we had the options of the probability of us getting struck by lightning on top of a mountain and the possibility of it flooding and getting swept away. So we picked the swept away one, and we decided to
We'd
go.
rather drown than
Right
get
up the
struck by
river.
lightning.
And mind you, the whole time we hiked this trip, we really had pleasant conversations the whole time about life back home and what we think and all these things.
And lots of singing.
lots of singing.
Jackie's playlist.
I brought my speaker.
Could,
Yeah,
could
I have-
we,
I have
you could
boots.
play the speaker in the rain?
Yeah, oh, I put it like in a.
It was
in
in
a
the backpack under the rain gear.
This is now a time for a sample of a song. I'm ready.
A sample of song.
I have the playlist.
You have the playlist.
I have playlists
Are
together.
you gonna let her go down there again?
She's 21.
We're not.
I can't
We're
do a
not
thing.
even. We're not
Do
even to
whatever
the
you
good
want.
Listen,
You're
part
she
yet.
lived.
21.
All right, what more do you? Sorry.
I
You're
lived.
gonna kill me before I want to be.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the good.
I
Good
remember.
part.
It's not even dangerous yet.
No, that's the dangerous part.
is all
What song
foreshadowing.
did you scream the most? It was probably "Take Me Home, Country Roads."
Probably, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
boy. John Denver.
You can't sing that.
I'm terrible at singing
It's like
that.
the one we want then.
No,
No.
I enjoy that song because I have a bunch of friends back home who go to West
In
Virginia and
West
stuff.
Virginia?
Yeah, well, not in West Virginia. We have. It's weird, but yeah, they go down there all the time and hang out and see people and so. The
Oh,
country roads kind of hits a little bit home to me.
And you were on a country-ish road.
Yeah,
It's not even John Denver.
it's like a
It
different.
is.
That, and the whole time I complain because it's not the original version. It's like it's a different.
It is.
version
It's a
from-
countryfied.
It's
Because Jackie she was grabbing songs that sounded the most like the songs that they sing at the staff camps. So they're not all like the original songs.
Yeah. So.
Okay, everybody on the chorus. Ready? Here we go.
I don't have a song.
Country road, take me home
Clap along.
to the place I belong.
What?
Garage.
All right. So.
Take me home. Are you done?
Yep.
Yeah, this is in the background now. You guys can hum as,
So,
as
now-
it continues.
Imagine being a crew hiking in a torrential downpour and hearing 3 rangers screaming their heads off singing this.
These
It would be
people
quite
you
the
knew?
experience.
We passed a crew. Yeah, there was a crew.
Well, we haven't got there yet. We haven't got there yet. Yeah.
Why
So-
didn't you just stay with them?
No,
a second.
they weren't our crew.
Well,
So-
yeah, but shh.
So we descended down the pass to get to the river to hike up the river, which is Uraka Mesa River or Uraka River. The river was something about Uraka.
It's your
No.
I have my map in my truck.
North.
North Fork, Uraka.
Yeah, North Fork Uraka was
Yeah.
the river,
Yeah.
and so Uraka is a mesa that's next to Black Mountain, so it's kind of like the in between. So anyway, the valley. So we go down, and at this point it was getting real rainy and real slick. I do remember walking on the trail, just seeing it like turn from like this real nice bright orange sand color to just a damp brown as we walked, and the rocks and being very loose, and I was slipping a little bit and stuff. But it was still nice when we went down some switchbacks, got to the river, and at the bottom of the river, when we got to the river, I believe there's a camp there, right?
Yeah.
And there was no one in camp, it was just a trail camp, and we did get a little of a snafu there trying to figure out which way to go, which we could have just went up the river looking back on it, if we'd been smart, but we couldn't find the trail, I believe. It was a little weird.
Yeah, it was out of the way. It
Yeah.
didn't make sense. Didn't look the same on the map.
Yeah, the trail, I guess on the map, was like right next to the river, and the trail actually went like up and down and some other weird stuff. But I remember at that point, the river wasn't real bad. I mean, it was still like a creek. I mean, there wasn't a lot of volume going through, you know.
You could still get over like the rocks and the
You could
logs.
walk through it comfortably
Yeah.
without really getting up to your shins. Really, it was decent, you know.
Probably
And
like ankle deep, maybe.
yeah, if that. And so we began our climb up the river, up the path along the river to Black Mountain. And we'll say it's about 3 or 4. I want to say it was before dinner time. You know, it was. I want to say 3.
Still light.
3-ish. Yeah,
Probably
it was
like
still,
3. Yeah, still
yeah.
light.
Still light. Yeah,
It was still
light.
it was kind of dark because the storm clouds were so thick, but it was light enough to totally see everything.
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah, so we began up and started hiking up, and every step we took, the river rose a little bit. Every step, you know, and you keep going and keep going. The rain kept down, kept coming down, and I think that storm threw every little bit of weather it could muster up at us that day.
Yeah.
Everything from hail, because from the torrential downpour to loud cracks of thunder and bright flashes of lightning.
Where we stopped for a moment to ponder and discuss whether or not we should do lightning position
and then
in
we were
the
like,
creek.
we're in water.
Inside the creek?
Well, because you're
Well-
supposed to spread out and get into lightning position,
but there
in
was
the
no
water.
but the
to
trail
go.
was a creek and we were in a valley, so
Yeah. So
What's
as
we
lightning
decided not
position-
to because we were in a creek anyway.
lighting position is
Get low so that
You
if
gotta-
lightning
You gotta heels
strikes,
together.
it'll strike up
Heels
something
together.
higher.
And you gotta squat down real low, so you're low, touch your elbows to your knees and your hands to your temples. So that if the lightning strikes you, it's gonna go
creates-
around your heart
and go out to the ground.
and
Go
to
ground
the
out.
ground.
And so, I
How hopeful is that?
It,
it's very
I
helpful.
mean, you're still gonna get burns from the lightning,
Depends
but
on if you want to
might
live.
not stop your heart.
Yeah, it'll severely decrease the chance of you dying.
Yeah.
Now that chance might
I like how
be
you
high.
said severely decrease the chance of death.
Yeah.
Now, you might not want to be alive after that, but hey.
It's gonna
you're
hurt.
be alive.
You'll be alive.
it's better than laying on. If you lay flat on the ground,
It's going straight through.
yeah, it's gonna hit you. So, I remember at this point that we started hiking up the trail, and the trail became we kept hiking up the trail, and we get to a low spot in the trail that he flooded a little bit. So you just jump over a little puddle or whatever, and it started. Those puddles and spots became more and more frequent until the point where there was 36 river crossings. Was what we counted? 42? 43?
It was 42.
42 river
It was
crossings?
supposed to be 26, and it was 42.
Yeah. So eventually it got to the point where the trail would intentionally go across the river, 26 times, but it turned to 42 because of how much the water had risen since we began this hike.
It
42
wasn't-
crossings, not counting the parts where you just had to walk through
through
it.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So eventually I was doing really good, and their
You
feet were wet.
counted as you went.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, because everybody was like, if you take that river, it's going to be 26 river crossings and this and that. And
Then you would
you're,
know how
you're just
close
going to want
you
to go
were.
back up over the mountain. And we were like,
So
we were
saying-
counting.
Yeah.
Plus, it keeps your mind off of the fact that you're getting hailed on and you might get struck by lightning.
Not yet. We didn't get hailed on. Well, there was some point in there where I do want to mention the fact that they got their feet wet like super early and I didn't, and I was like being super meticulous and cautious of not to get my feet wet. And regardless, I had extra socks in my back, like wool socks or nice socks and stuff. So it wasn't until I want to say river crossing 30 is when I got my feet eventually wet, which just goes to show no matter how much you can do, you're gonna get your feet wet. So, and I remember,
Just do it.
and around that point too, I got my feet wet. And I said, I was like, oh, well, it's raining, it's flooding, it's lightning, it's thunder. At least it's not hailing.
Yeah, right as we said that.
As soon as I said those words, as soon as they left my mouth,
It was like BB gun pellets.
it was immediate hail. Like, someone was just
Waiting for that.
waiting for me to just
Cue.
I was like tempting fate. I was like, oh, I guess it's not hailing. And then immediately it would just start hailing. I'm
And
like,
I also want to
Great.
point out how I was surviving the rain. They both had rain jackets.
Really nice rain jackets that I spent like $80 on my rain jacket, brand new. I
They-
just washed the dirt off of it and everything.
Were soaked immediately.
Those-
I
Soaked.
I had my rain jacket and I decided not to use it. Instead, I had my full pack cover, which it's pretty big because it covers my entire pack, but I just had my day pack. So I took the full pack cover and I hooked it over my head and I was holding onto it like this. So, and then it would just roll off my back, and then I had my rain pants on. I stayed much more dry than
Yeah.
they did.
I'll just
Okay, so
use
there's
my
a
frying
tip
pan
right there.
as a drying pan.
She, I will say that I was in the back, leading up the back of the pack, I was behind everybody and
Because he
just,
farts while he's hiking.
yeah, let's not talk about that. That's bad. Well, because look at my
TMI.
So, as
Not
we're
all the
hiking,
details, okay?
Yeah.
as we're hiking, I just remember seeing you were in the front.
Yeah, because I'm the slowest hiker. So
Yeah, and
I was
Cassie's
like,
in the
I'm
middle.
going in the front
So
because
I'm
you're not
behind-
going to race me up this mountain.
So I'm behind Kira, and I just remember just seeing her elbows bouncing because she was and I was just looking at I was just because she would turn around and make sure I was still there.
Yeah.
It was just the funniest
Fan position.
that
I would
weirdest
turn
look if the Hunchback of Notre Dame and the Tyrannosaurus Rex were a person. That's what she was, small arms, hunched over, you good? Okay, sounds good. And I kept,
Oh, but your arms were tired. Oh.
They weren't too bad because,
kind of resting.
yeah, I kind of was it was because the cover was resting on my head and my hands were just kind of hooked onto the side of the fabric because it has a elastic so that it squeezes around the pack,
Right.
and so it was just kind of
Could
curled under, and I
almost
just set my
rest,
arms
okay.
up there, and yeah, I stayed much more dry.
Yeah, drier than me.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
that's for sure.
So then, like I said, just interject. 'Cause I feel like I'm talking a lot, but if you have any thought, please interrupt me. 'Cause I do talk a lot. We begin.
Austin's a storyteller.
I'm using my D&D experience
Yeah,
to
yeah.
describe everything.
Yes.
Right.
We keep on marching up the trail, resilient to the fact that there was floods, lightning,
This
thunder,
sounds like D&D.
thunder, hail to the size from
Slippery
B's
rocks.
to BBs to a little bit bigger than that. But we were getting through it. We were listening to our John Denver. We were embarking up through this challenge, and we got to, I want to say, 3/4 of the way to, we were 3/4 of the way. We were almost to Black Mountain. I mean, to the point that we were,
Probably 2 miles away.
yeah, we were getting real close. So this was about dinner time, about 6 o'clock or so.
Like you could almost smell the wood burning stove. We were.
Yeah,
close
there was
enough.
faint smells and sounds that you could
Even through the rain.
Through the valley
even
and the
through
rain.
the valley
you
and the
could,
rain, that you could differentiate from what just normal woods to, okay, that's something I smell on a
Human.
campsite, you
Yeah.
know. And so we got to a point where we got to, on the right side of the river, we were hiking up along, it was kind of like almost like a sharp pass, I want to say. It was right next to the river, like on the bank, and there was only like this much room of the trail, maybe a little bit less. And then on the right, it was just a big rock wall where you can't go up, like it's straight up. To the left, it's straight down to the river. And
yeah, it was like the river had cut through the rocks of the side
it
of the
was,
mountain.
and it was a very cool sight.
Yeah,
'cause-
it was beautiful.
and we were on top of the bank, so you're looking down at it, and you can still, and at this point you can, because it's weird now. I think about it now is that when you're down like at the river, you know, you look up and there's these towering walls and banks, and you can't see anything but except straight up in the tops of trees. But when you get near the halfway of the bank, you can see the top of the opposite bank of the valley. You can see where the land goes over up to the top of the valley, and more light. You get a little bit. It gets
Yeah,
brighter.
it's brighter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I think it was really cool because at this point, I described the trail and everything because we met another crew. And I remember Cassie in the front, so she was talking to the crew. And I don't know, I can't remember a whole lot about that part of the crew, but I do remember one thing. I was standing in the back waiting for information to figure out what was going on. And I just remember like looking on the opposite side, and as you described, how the water cut through the rocks.
Yeah, it was like a
It
cut
was
through. It was almost like a waterfall.
It was almost like a waterfall, and the rocks in the opposite bank in the valley looked like it was just like washed. It looked like, I can't explain. It was like cut through. There was large jagged rocks sticking out, and you could see underneath the jagged rocks there's like overhangs where there are pools and eddies of water, and you could just see it swirling and flowing, and it was just a really, really cool part that kind of stuck with me about that part of the trek. And I'll give it to Cassie because I don't know what happened with that crew that we met.
Time on the camera.
Oh, how do you?
28, 20.
Okay,
Five?
so it's about to stop. It stops at half an hour.
Oh,
So just be aware and cut us off when it stops.
then you just push
And
again.
just push Travis, you showed or I showed. Actually, might as well just stop now since we're stopped.
So there's a red.
I probably should check my mom when I got here.
Good idea.
So,
Okay, and then you just push
Early
the
as
same
never.
thing again to start it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't push it.
remember, better late than never.